Welcome to BCS 117. This is Charlie Twist. I serve as a COR in Southern Utah. I've had a number of years of experience working on commissioners, different levels over the years. And today I'm presenting this particular class on the role of the commissioner and the unit key 3. At the end of this training, a commissioner will be able to do the following things, hopefully. Identify the roles of the unit key 3. Who does what? And create a working bond between the key 3 and the commissioner. And what we want to be able to do here, translating all this, have an effective unit key 3, because when that unit key 3 is effective, the unit itself is stronger. So who makes up the unit key 3? I think in that 105 class, that answer was given, but the 3 people involved here typically is the unit leader. So for the Cubs, that would be the Cub Master. For the Scouts, it would be the Scout Master. Or if we're working with a crew, it would be the advisor. The second person would be the committee chair of that unit. And the third would be the chartered organization representative. So that's who the key 3 is. What do they do? Well, the unit leader is responsible for the image and the program of the unit. So he needs to put his good face forward. He needs to have a good program under him or her. This unit leader does not need to be a male. The image that they portray, not only to the Scouts, but to the parents and the community at large, needs to be positive, and it needs to be progressive, and it needs to be effective. The unit leader works directly with the youth. This is a direct contact leader. And the guidance they give to the program needs to be of quality. The parents and the Scouts need to feel they are part of a great organization because the leader is presenting it that way. What is the role of the unit committee chair? They are responsible for administering and supporting the program. There needs to be good harmony in the key 3, especially between the committee chair and the unit leader. The chair leads the unit committee and is responsible for the on-time rechartering. We typically suggest that starting with the unit rechartering be done as early as August, when the unit expiration is the end of December. It seems pretty early for some, but we need to verify who's going to be on that committee. We need to verify that their address and their contact information, if it has changed, it gets reposted. We need to follow up on who needs training, particularly youth protection training. All these things are done in the background early and allowing time for people who are busy to get to it. but follow-up is needed to make sure they do. Additionally, there is the need to give those individual families an awareness of what the cost is going to be and give them time to gather their funds. The unit committee chair needs to also help promote roundtable, get the people who are serving to be there, interact with others, and learn their material. What are the roles of these individuals? Let's start with the COR. The COR, in effect, is the CEO of scouting in that unit. He or she needs to be alert to what's going on with the committee, with the unit leader, and the implementation of the intended program within that unit. The COR is the contact between the unit and the chartered organization. They maintain relationship there with that chartered organization. We want to have good feelings there, and like the smile on this fellow's face, we want that to be a smooth and functioning relationship. When leadership is needing to be changed or enlarged, the COR definitely needs to be involved with selecting those people. We want people who have a willingness to serve, as well as a love for youth. And additionally, the COR gets to have input from their level onto the council. So council level meetings that are held where the COR is invited, that person should be there and let their voice be heard from their organization standpoint. The unit commissioner, this friend to all, helper to all, is not part of the key three or the unit. However, they are an advisor or a guide to that key three. When we add one additional member visiting with, working with the unit key three, we have one more voice of reasoning in regards to setting policies, dealing with issues, setting goals. And so this key three and their relationship to the commissioner needs to be an effective one where they have a good working relationship. The unit commissioner also represents the district and offering support to that unit. We don't always have unit commissioners available to every unit. We intend that they have one, and when we do, that person is representing the district as well as serving as a guide and helper to that key three. To know what's going on, the commission needs to attend meetings periodically. In the beginning, they may need to visit on a very frequent basis to get acquainted and to build a working relationship with that unit and its leaders and its parents. So, working relationship here, the COR, the unit leader, and the chair working together are the key players for that unit. Then we bring in the unit commissioner to help with them. If the key three is not meeting monthly, one of the things that unit commissioner can do is suggest that that happen. Because if we have a large committee, a large unit, this smaller group of the key three can work more efficiently and then take their suggestions, their decisions to the larger committee, and they know where they're coming from and what they're trying to effectively present to the rest of the committee. They also can take some of the burden off the committee. We think of the committee as taking the burden off of the unit leader, but sometimes that committee may be feeling overwhelmed, particularly if they are understaffed. And this has been mentioned earlier today in different meetings. There needs to be a succession plan in place. If the unit leader is effective and things are going very well, that's great. However, that leader and his position can have a vacancy at any short moment's notice. It may be a transfer of employment, maybe a health issue that comes up. At any point, when that person leaves that position, do we have someone in the wings ready, prepared, trained to move on and take the unit leader's place? So a unit succession plan is always needed. Now, the commissioner can work to strengthen the relationship between the unit and the COR. We have a lot of relationships that we're working with in the scouting organization, and we need to have effective relationships there. In the beginning, that may take a lot of visits to get acquainted, to start a relationship and build it. Ultimately, the key three and all the leaders should be focused on the youth. We don't want any particular leader feeling like everything is focused on them and what they are doing. We want to shift that, deflect that, focus that onto the youth. I went to a training session one time, and this was brought home by a plan that they had and a picture of a target with its different circles. And in the center of that target was a picture of a Cub Scout face. So we knew, and that has remained with me for years, our focus, the target of our efforts needs to be the youth. Now, when the commissioner comes into play and begins working with that unit key three, they need to look around and identify the strengths of that unit. And if there are areas where those strengths are sagging, be able to provide recommendations on how those strengths could be enhanced. And then again, those visits, those contacts, might be a text, and it might be a visit in the grocery store, visit to the unit. Whenever a contact is made, unit commissioners, the commissioner tool should be used And then the Journey to Excellence is an excellent program for not only the unit commissioner, but also the key three within that unit, as well as the committee. Provides ideal areas for us to evaluate how well are we doing. It's intended to be a self-guided tour and to help identify where we're strong and where we need to be strong. And that unit commissioner can meet with them and identify those areas, both areas of strength and areas of need. So, encouragement of a good program, the goals set out for that unit and presented to the unit itself. A budget plan, if one is not in place. We've heard earlier today the importance of finance, being able to fund awards, activities, supplies for the meetings. All those things should be able to be funded by the unit as opposed to the unit leader. There needs to be a unit-wide communication. In today's world, we have many options available to us to help have that communication. But somebody needs to be in charge of it, whether it be a website, whether it be a Zoom meeting, texting, emailing, calling, a continual reaching out. And the bottom line is the individual scout and family needs to feel that they are important, that they are recognized, and that the leaders are interested in that particular scout. Again, this has been mentioned earlier today, but all of our leaders, particularly our key three, need to be trained in their position. Knowing what is going on is key to their success. The district and the council will be providing different activities from time to time. And it's always great for the scouts to be involved in something bigger than their own unit. Particularly if the unit is small and they go to a district-wide or a council-wide event and there are hundreds of other people there and they are made to feel like they are part of a great organization. And so we need to encourage participation in these district and council activities or events. The unit commissioner should be involved with a collaborative assessment. This is a detailed assessment, and the unit key three and the unit commissioner get involved with this. I think this picture is a great illustration of the key three linked together, holding hands, and the unit commissioner coming to visit with his hand extended to the hands of the unit key three and having that communication together. Now, when we're talking about setting goals as a part of the collaborative assessment, this is key that this group work together and all members have input and their discussion with setting up those goals. This collaborative assessment should be initiated by the unit commissioner. In the event that there is not a unit commissioner involved with that unit, then the one member of that unit key 3, probably the COR, needs to initiate that, so that is held. This collaborative assessment or key effort here needs to be held twice a year. A great time for this is recharter time. We're evaluating ourselves, we're looking at how we've done this last year, and it's natural then to look forward to the next 6 months and year and start identifying the different areas on that scorecard for the journey to excellence, noting our strengths and our needs. And so we work together with this unit key 3 and the commissioner. Each will see things a little bit differently. We work together, have harmony, and one person's idea may spawn the idea of another person, and then we work together and we come up with a master plan. And so we review the performance of this year's JTE scores, and those help us to establish goals for improvement. One of the key areas here for this detailed assessment is to determine who is going to be responsible for what and when is that going to be completed. So this establishes a arrangement where we have accountability, and then we can start chipping away at those needs. Now, the journey to excellence has 3 different levels of recognition, gold being the highest. And this ribbon around the outside of this award identifies which level, whether we're going to be bronze, silver, or gold for the year. The target, of course, is the highest level. And when we do that, we say to the people involved, the scouts themselves, that we are part of a first-class team. Everybody wants to be there as opposed to second class. The Journey to Excellence effort encourages continuous improvement. We did well on this last year. Could we do even better for the next year? It is a measuring tool and a goal-setting tool for how well the intended program is actually being delivered to the youth. So, what evidence have you seen of this in your units? Let's take some discussion on this at this point.
I think it's helpful when you're doing your planning meetings to have your Journey to Excellence in front of you to be able to kind of know, okay, we need so many outdoor activities. What do we want to plan? And instead of having to start from scratch, it gives you that rough outline. And if you can give that, it's an extra tool to the leaders and the committee, and it kind of takes the pressures off of some things as well.
Good input. Now, the Journey to Excellence scorecard for 2021 on the troop level. This is the first part of it. We have the objective. We're looking at planning, membership, program, volunteer leadership, and we move across from the left side over to the right, the objective, and if we achieve minimum level, we will be bronze. A little higher, a little bit more production, we go into the silver level and the gold level at the top. This is a little hard to read because of the size of the print. So it includes such things as the following. Now these are only 6 of the areas. There are typically 11 to 13. They vary whether the unit is a cub unit or a troop unit or a venturing unit. So as we look at our own unit and we start thinking, oh, well, I'm doing well on this one, I'm doing well on that one, and this one, that's a little bit of a trouble spot. We need to focus there. Okay, as we reach the end of this particular presentation, we now can identify who the unit key 3 are and what their role is and how the commissioner fits into this. Any further comments on the integration here of the unit key 3 and the unit commissioner?